It's time to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers, and I'll be discussing this in studio with a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Tunji Abdul Hamid. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Right, and have again joining me is a lawyer, social development advocate, Judy Ologun. Thank you once again.
You're welcome.
Right, let's quickly delve into what the papers are reporting this morning. Daily Sun is the first paper that I have here with me. Police army fall attack by gunmen on Imo Station. Now, the main headline here is APC chairmanship. Buhari rejects governor's opposition against Adamo. And the rider raids urges Nigerians to get involved in security efforts. Right, this Nigeria APC convention. Governors hit brick wall. President Buhari insists on Adamo as consensus candidate for national chairman. The governors stick to March 26th convention date. Leadership newspaper is next. Constitution review. President, governors may go to jail for rejecting legislative summons. Quite interesting. News Direct. Constitution amendment still. National Assembly approves financial autonomy for local governments. State legislature, judiciary rejects pension for presiding officers. Well, Daily Trust, National Assembly stops states, local government joint accounts, rejects slot for women. And then Rider Reid opposes pension immunity for presiding officers, approves financial autonomy for state legislatures, judiciary. Blueprint has this headline: despite Aisha Buhari's advocacy, National Assembly kicks out affirmative action. Senate rejects Traditional Rulers Council, okays financial autonomy for state legislature, judiciary independent candidacy. Lower chamber rejects power to override presidential veto. The Nigerian Tribune next. Constitution review. Senate reps support independent candidacy. Devolution of powers, quite interesting. Reject immunity, life pension for presiding officers, diaspora voting. We'll look into that in the course of our analysis. The Nation newspaper. Senators, reps, no to bill seeking VAT for federal government as lawmakers reject immunity for Senate President, Speaker, not for states to legislate on railways and electricity. Federal government, as the next one is the Punch newspaper, which has the screaming headline: federal government loses out. National Assembly affirms states' power to collect VAT. Lagos, Akwa Ibom hail lawmakers on value-added tax, says it's true federalism. Senators, reps retain VAT on concurrent lists. Local government autonomy sails through. Daily Times is next. Strike. Federal government working to address ASUU's demand. That's according to Mr. Ngige there. It says over 92 billion naira paid so far as part of implementation of agreements reached with the union in December 2020. First news. Again, President Buhari travels abroad on medicals. This has got Nigerians talking about the president, going outside of the country for medical attention and all that. The Guardian newspaper, Buhari leaves for Nairobi, London as fuel scarcity bites harder nationwide. President Buhari leaves for Nairobi, London as fuel scarcity bites harder nationwide. Kaduna, Ilori motorists sleep at filling stations. That's according to the rider there. The Vanguard newspaper, fuel scarcity chokes Lagos, Abuja, Enugu, others. Federal government says 45 million liters of products successfully blended will not lift PMS for depot owners selling above 148.77 naira. That's according to New Bank. National economy. Widespread use of POS threatens ATM's dominance. That's a technology disruption there. Business days last. Seplat's bid for ExxonMobil assets meets NNPC brick wall. Seplat's bid for ExxonMobil assets meets NNPC brick wall. So let's get talking about the latest developments from the National Assembly. I would like to pick it from you where we left it, Jide Ologun. Yeah, we were talking about the local government autonomy a little earlier. What do you think this will achieve at the end of the day? Because it's financial autonomy is one thing. Bringing government to the grassroots is another thing. A lot of Nigerians, whenever they look at, they want to criticize the government, they often talk about the national budget. They don't even talk about the state budget. So do we expect something better in terms of administration of good governance to Nigerians?
If we emplace the good governance culture, because what it says is that the resources for the local government will be released directly to the local government. But if you have leaders at the local government level that are corrupt, then they can mismanage the resources. But if you have local government leadership that is upright and forthright, then you experience the developmental impact of those resources. And I think it goes a long way, because the argument some of them have is that, okay, the money meant for us is what the state gives us that we collect from them. And if we also, beyond this autonomy, go to the point of implementing the spirit of Section 15, subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, that says that the state shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office, then you know that when you are in office, you are there to serve. And whatever is released for you to reach out to the people is engaged for that purpose.
I think we're having a bit of technical glitch. And let me go to our second discussant here on the program. Well, Senate supports independent candidacy, devolution of powers. How did you receive this?
Well, to me, it's a misfeeling as far as I'm concerned, because I've always maintained that, look, independent candidate or party candidate is not our problem. If you have people who have before now contested under party that are unknown, and these people seem to say this man is a good person, and yet they were not voting for him, what is the consideration, or what is the assurances that if he's an independent candidate, he will be voted for? So as far as I'm concerned, yes, it will give people opportunity to contest election. Will it give us a better candidate? Will they win? Those are the issues. So whether an independent candidacy or not, I have a kind of a misfeeling regarding that. I'm not too happy. I'm not excited about it, and I'm also not sad about it. But I think if you play, it's a good proposal. If you play the game the way it should be played. If people, the followers, I mean Nigerians, are not looking at people with buy money bag. They're not looking for people that has the capacity to buy everybody to say this person will give me. Because this is in Nigeria where you see people, they will tell you this particular person is a good person for the job, but it's in the wrong party. So what is the guarantee that if such person also move from that wrong party to be an independent candidate, he will be voted for? So that's why I say I'm not too excited. I'm not too sad about it. But it's a good development. Before I go
to Julia Logan, I want to get your thoughts on summoning the president that the bill. Do you feel the use of language here is somewhat demeaning to the office of the president?
I don't think so. The president is also a citizen of Nigeria, and it should accord people with respect as well. The National Assembly as an organ of arm of government. If the members of the National Assembly, the Senate President or whatever, can be summoned by the court, or can be summoned to attend to whatever, the president can also be summoned by the National Assembly. He's not being prosecuted. He's not been alleged of any offense. He's just been asked to come and explain it, because there has been argument before now that whenever the National Assembly calls the president, it's handlers who say they don't have the power to.
No, linguistically, I think people are not against the fact that the president should be summoned. They don't just want the word summon.
What is the difference between summon and invite?
Because let's say
you see, when we trade on more the relevant issue in this country. In other words, we play with languages in the summon, invite. What does it mean? You are being asked to come. That is the most important thing there. So when we now play on the adjective or the words, we are not helping ourselves. What I mean, what I know as far as I'm concerned, when they say to summon the president, is to call the president to come and answer questions. That is the meaning of summon as far as I'm concerned. So whether you invite, whether you are assuming someone, we have seen the situation whereby police will invite you, and at the end of the day they will arrest you. They didn't summon you. You were invited and you went there by yourself, and you'll be arrested and you'll be detained, or you'll be asked to come and bail yourself out.
Right.
So you see, whether it's someone on the best, my own worry again, this summon of the president and the governors or whatever to come and answer questions. What will be the consequences if he fails to come? Those are the issues. That is the area I am worried about, because I know the president has a immunity now, constitution has not been removed. I know, except the ministers, they can be asked they can say we want to invoke their right to arrest or to order for his arrest. But would the police authority even answer them? So these are the issues there. But I don't see anything bad in giving them the power to be able to summon the president to come and answer questions. Because like we're having a petroleum crisis now. The president is the minister of petroleum. He's not talking to anybody, and nobody is asking. He's not talking to anybody. So if they now ask him to come and answer, to come and tell them what is happening, would that be out of place?
All right, that's a question. Well, sorry to actually, because we needed to fix something, but good to know that you're here now. You were actually on a point as regards the local government autonomy, but a senior advocate of Nigeria is also in the legal profession as you, Professor Itisage, said the list and affairs of local government should not be in the constitution, but should be at the prerogative of states to determine the creation of local governments, the number and absolute responsibility for the funding of these local governments. Do you share the same view?
He was my lecturer in Unibank, constitutional lecturer. But then, right now, the Constitution is saying that the local government's existence is recognized by the Constitution.
Right.
And they should exist as an extension. We have basically three arms of government, the legislative, the judiciary, and the executive. But when you talk of tiers of government, you have the federal, the state, and the local government. That let them operate, and that should be the most powerful aspect. So if Professor Isasage is saying it should be left to the state to manage, now we have a complaint that having their money released to them by the state is crippling their effectiveness. So how do we handle that? And that's why my position was to go back to section 15 subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1990 that's amended, that says that the state shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office. So the point here is not about even releasing funds directly to the local government, but how do you ensure that the funds that are released are equitably and effectively engaged so that we can witness this development we crave for? For example, now, making reference to the laws, is there any law in this country that says that money should be spent on moribund refineries? No. What the Constitution says, if you read from section 15 to 16, is that the economy of the country should be managed in a way that we have a self-reliant economy and that wealth is not concentrated in the hands of a few. And we claim to be spending 100 billion naira on maintaining moribund refineries. So that is corruption. So while applauding the fact that you are saying money should be released to local government directly, that they have their autonomy, how do they manage the funds? Have we come to the point where public officers go in there to serve the people with the resources available? Can we come to the point where we begin to have laws that as a president who has opted to preside over the affairs of the country, if the refineries are not functioning in 7 months, you go to jail automatically?
All right, that being said.
So I think that is the issue. We should also look at what do we achieve when we make this law. So if you send money directly to local government and some guys and ladies sit up there to embezzle the money, of what use is that law?
All right, that being said, another one which failed to sail through is the pension immunity for presiding officers. That's on daily trust. Approved financial autonomy for state legislatures. That's what you just mentioned. So speak to the fact that the immunity for presiding officers is not approved, and the life pension for them.
When you talk about immunity, is to prevent unnecessary interference so that these officers can focus on what they have to do. We already have that for the president and, of course, the vice president, the governor, and the deputy governors.
Right.
Then let the National Assembly focus on their functions. Why are you asking for this immunity? For crying out loud. And you are talking about life pension. My advice is that can these legislators go and study the template of the USA? Right. I keep saying it. you know, when you leave office as a congressman, you are not afraid, because you go back to your society, the basic amenities are there, healthcare facilities, education for your children, you can afford accommodation, you know, reasonably. I have said it, I have not read that Obama, after 2 terms in office, owns a property in Washington, D.C. No, because provisions are made for the people. But in a country where there is insecurity, provisions are not made, you must continue to live large like you are living in office without creating the enabling environment. You must be pursuing all these life pensions or whatever. So what we are saying is that, can you develop this country? Right now, there's fuel scarcity. Right now, there is tough inflation. Right now, we have different problems. And our president has gone abroad for medical check. I mean, we should be worried about that. I am worried about that. I am. Then let Boris Johnson come to Nigeria for medical care.
So in essence, what you're saying is that we should develop our own healthcare system, you know, make
everything, not just healthcare, education. ASUU is on strike now. You saw what happened with the Minister of Education that walked out on the students. So when are we going to show enough concern to develop this nation so that there can be prosperity, there can be security, there can be joy? These are the concerns. Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999, as amended, says that the National Assembly shall make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of the nation.
Let me come to you on this particular one. You raised the issue of education. Now, Senate has actually passed the bill to make free, compulsory, and basic education a fundamental rights order of all citizens. Is that something you like?
It's a good one. It's a good one. But I'm not also going to be shouting hallelujah or hooray, because I know in this country, our problem most time is not the law, it's about implementation. Would they follow through the law? Would that not be excuses of there is no money and therefore we cannot cope with it? So it's a good one as far as I'm concerned. Free and compulsory primary basic education is good. Everybody should be given opportunity to go to school, at least primary education, and then they should follow through. But my worry, like I said again, is whether or not they will follow through and then affect that provision of the law to satisfy the welfare of the people.
Well, so a little earlier we had a discussion on the rejection of the bill to provide a minimum of 10 women nominees as ministers and commissioners in the federal and state executive councils. Are you also, part of the men folks who think the women should be given but a little?
I'm not, with due respect. It's not as if I'm against women. I love them. They are mother, they are our sisters, they are our daughters, they are whatever. But I am not one of those who agree that, look, political offices, yes, in terms of appointment, yes, you can assign a particular slot to them. Say, look, women must occupy certain number of slots. Yes, I agree with that. But in terms of elective offices, I don't agree with that. Let everybody compete. We are all equal. That's what they say. The women will tell you when it comes to enforcement of, they will tell you we are all equal. That it's not as a lesser woman. So let's also compete. If you want to run we want to go into elective offices, let's see what you can do. After all, most of these women that are winning election, they are being supported by women. They came in. Most of them came in through women support. So why can't they also do that and ensure that women are supported and becomes whatever they want them to become? So bear
in mind that most of those who vote for these women, we have some women who are winning elections, but some women prefer to vote for the men folks rather than their own.
So why are we not complaining? Why are they not complaining? Why are the women complaining? If they can't, if they want to, I don't even agree that women, young, old, or whatever, are we going to be voting in line with gender or what? Not capacity, not competency? Are we not going to be looking at? It must be the women want to take that position.
Is it not based on
they are looking for opportunity to just take position with ease. And there's some excuses some people are giving is that the terrain is not conducive for them because most times the political meetings are held in the night. If you are giving an appointment,
right,
are you not going to be attending the meeting?
He's got a different opinion to what you actually stated earlier. What would you say to this?
I mentioned that man was made out of dust by God, and woman was made out of man. So women do not need to compete with men. Right. In fact, they are by nature highly influential. So let them rise up and engage the space. I mean, you saw the likes of Hillary Clinton, even though she did not win the presidency election. I admire her courage. You know, Merkel just left as chancellor in Germany. Right now, a woman, presides over the affairs in Singapore. Tanzania is presided over by a woman. So, I appreciate that. And I said it in Saudi Arabia at a time. Women could not drive, but through advocacy, they now drive. Several things like that. So let the women, continue the advocacy. Let them get interested in politics. Let them go out there, vote for one another, present candidates,
looks like you both are not, you're not looking at the fact that it's a patriarchal society. We tend to see the men as the leader of everything. Naturally, men are supposed to lead. That's what we believe in.
No
Africa.
society is stagnant. I just said it. You keep engaging.
Even if you look at our political terrain, if you are covered with the political system, when you go to campaign or go anywhere, who are those that are most popular there?
They are the ones singing and clapping.
Without their support, nobody can win. No man can win election. They were the one that they will be the one to do all the works. Why can't they also? I remember when the Sarah Jubril contested as presidential aspirant of a particular party. She voted for herself. We have women as delegates. Why
no, of course, if you vote for yourself.
I'm telling you, she has only one vote.
Oh, that's what you meant.
So that means the women are not supporting her. And then we have so many women that have contested election. They didn't get a vote, and we have made. And now they will be talking about it's not a giving. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a giving. When you give a position to somebody, you won't appreciate it. You let them work for it. When they work for it, they will know that yes, I agree. Except they are now agreeing that women are more. Men are now at higher pedestal than them, because most men will tell you we are equal, and you cannot put him under the carpet. So if we are equal, they should also fight, and let's see how it goes.
Enough on the women now. Let's just spare them for a bit and look at this. Lastly, just very briefly, lower chamber rejects power to override presidential veto. Just briefly, that's what we are wrapping up.
If you override the power to veto the president, then what happens when the president refuses to assent to a bill to pass it into law? And I believe what we learned in school is that these three arms of government, they are for checks and balances. So we need to retain that balance. But I must commend what the feedback we are getting from the review of the Constitution. It's quite encouraging, particularly when you consider those who believe that that National Assembly is a rubber stamp. Look at the case of the value-added tax, that no, the federal government cannot have the exclusive right to collect that. So I recommend them, and we say, please, once again, make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of the country, and everyone will benefit from it.
While we're commending them, we also realize that it's not yet a rule, because this will still go back to the states, and that's where most time we have problems. I remember the last time when issue of local government autonomy was passed by the National Assembly. It was rejected at the state level. So we should also put our focus on the state to ensure that things that we'll need. They don't know it. For me, like I said, it's a misfeeling. There are some area that they didn't touch, which I want to see.
No, it's still continuing today. It's still continuing today.
Okay, like state police, like they rejected the factual hearing proceeding in court. I think, to me, they are drawing us back, because the world is moving now. Right. So there are so many areas that I also not. I'm not a bit in whole. They try.
We'll continue to follow these as they actually unfold. They are resuming the session today, and we'll see what they are going to be bringing on the table at the end of the day. Well, lawyer and public affairs analyst Tunji Abdul Hamid, thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you very much.
And also, again, I'll be thanking you again, lawyer and social development advocate Jide Ologo. Thank you always.
Thank you. God bless Nigeria.